When you send me packing down Green River Valley.
Hey, this is Adam with Mile High Stash, the podcast that asks what 5 albums you would take to a remote Colorado cabin in the event of a zombie apocalypse, armed with only food, water, and a crank-powered Victrola. Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Reed Foehl came by on a recent snow-covered Boulder, Colorado morning. It really is funny how schizophrenic the weather in Colorado is in the spring. If you've been around here in the last 30 years, well, you know about the weather, but you certainly know Reed Foehl, whose songs have been in a lot of TV shows and movies. His most recent album, Wild Wild Love, talks about old songs showing up like best friends out on the weekend. And I'm pretty sure when Reed showed up, it was a weekend, and we were both pretty hungover and ready to relax in an apocalypse conversation. Reed lives in Vermont now, and he's an incredible songwriter. And along with all the writing and touring, he plays every Christmas season at the Gold Hill Inn with Gregory Alan Isakov, who we referred to as Greg a lot in our conversation, and we also mentioned Clay Rose from Gasoline Lollipops and Greg's violinist Jeb Bose. Jeb, I think you get name dropped on Mile High Stash more than anyone else. So hey, Jeb. Wild Wild Love by Reed Foehl is just a beautiful album. It's like the Fruit Bats and John Prine hanging out. Reed will be playing songs from that record on June 29th at the Boulder Roots Music Project, and you might even hear Wild Wild Love on 105.5 The Colorado Sound, one of this podcast's good friends. Check out the Colorado Sound all over the Front Range at 105.5 on your radio dial, or just head to thecoloradosound.org anywhere in the world. Anyway, here's my chat with Reed. We'll start with his name, which I'll admit I got wrong before we sat down together. So you say it full, right?
Foehl.
Okay, well, this is good to know. Foehl.
Yeah,
Everybody says full.
Everybody. And
Yeah.
just, I almost just am fine with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a German name. It's
Foehl.
supposed to have like an umlaut over it. You know, it's supposed to be like Foehl.
Right.
And so when they Americanized it and it came over here, for some stupid reason they said Foehl instead of Foehl.
Yeah.
You know, I have even nephews that say no, it's Foehl, because everybody
Yeah.
says Foehl. Nobody
Yeah.
says Foehl. And also, you don't want a negative connotation for your name, you know?
Yeah.
I missed that boat. I should have been like Reed Star or something.
Reed Succeed.
Or just make up a name.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never did that. I almost did the Gregory thing, and for my first solo record, I was Reed McGregor Foehl. So that was a little,
nice.
but it is what it is. Three
Yeah.
Foehl.
Okay, so we are here on a snow-covered Boulder day with Reed Foehl. A lot of people say Reed Foehl.
Lots of people.
And the one thing that you alluded to about interviews that's really boring is where are you from? But I do want to ask you that. I think you're from Massachusetts, right?
I am. I'm originally from a small town outside of Boston called Dover, Mass.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So currently, my Penguins and your Bruins are playing an outdoor game
Are they today?
right now.
No way.
So I'm missing that to talk with you.
Oh no! Can you tape it? These days you can tape things and watch them on YouTube later or something.
Yeah,
right?
it might get interesting in the third period.
My girlfriend's brother's there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, isn't it at Fenway?
it's at Fenway.
Yeah. Oh
Really
my
cool.
gosh! Is it snowing there?
It's not snowing. It's the perfect weather. It's not too hot.
Yeah,
Not
the
too
Bruins
cold.
are hot this year.
They're the best team in the NHL
Yeah.
this year. Yeah. So
I played hockey all my life and grew up there, you know, in New England. And
Who's your
that's what
favorite
you
hockey
do.
player?
I mean, Bobby Orr. Was
Yeah.
you know, I used to see him play. You know, I'm dating
Ray Bourque.
myself, but he was a defenseman. For those who don't know, for the Bruins, and I remember him just he you know how defensemen go behind the net and they sort of set up the play in their own zone.
Yeah.
He'd take it all the way and wrap it around and score on the other team.
Yeah.
Crazy. And back in the day when they had no helmets too, which
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
crazy.
My first era of hockey was the Mario Yarmir Yager, but then
Yeah.
they would play the Cam Neely, Ray Bork, Adam Oates.
Ray
Bruins.
Bork, I mean, come on, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
another, he's right up there.
Yeah.
But he was like, after Bobby Orr, of course. And then he went to the Avalanche, actually.
And won the cup.
He won a
Yeah,
cup, finally.
yeah. So, did you come directly to Colorado from Massachusetts?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I came out here to Boulder in 1989.
Yeah.
Actually, the day before Mall Crawl, remember that? For
Yeah,
those
yeah.
of you, that was just a wild Halloween party on the Boulder Pearl Street Mall. So that was the next day, and I was like, "What is this place?" They've since canceled it because it got too out of hand, But I came here in '89. Yeah.
So you were here in the era of Penny Lane.
Yep, we played.
Tulagis.
We used to play there. We used to play. So I was in a band called Acoustic Junction, and my brother. We started to play in Boston, and we was literally just paying to play.
Yeah.
And it was like my brother was coming out to school here, and he was part of the band. He was going to the University of Colorado, so I was like, why don't we just take it out to Boulder? It was a great decision because, like you said, there was so many places to play. We play 3 or 4 times a week.
Right.
Taylor's, Tulagis, J.J. McCabe's, Penny Lane. I think those days are over. And then, soon I'd stopped painting houses and just played music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what happened with that band?
So within a year, we were playing Red Rocks with Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic. And then my brother and the bass player quit. I just didn't, I don't know, tour life wasn't for them. And, and they sort of, it was not the greatest time to quit after we were sort of had all this momentum. So I was like, I was a lot younger then. I think I would have stopped, but I said, no, I've worked so hard to get here. I was devastated at first. And then I was like, why don't I just regroup and get other members? And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then we toured for like 10 years with that band and did fairly well. We signed a record contract with Capricorn and Mercury.
Can people listen to that stuff on Spotify?
Yeah. Acoustic Junction on 6 records.
Yeah.
All of it. And then we changed our name, which was the stupidest thing because the record company wanted us to change our name, and it was just foolish, and no pun intended, but we changed our name to Fool's Progress. So, and that didn't work, and then we eventually changed it back, and then by then it was like too late, and I was ready to just move on and do solo stuff, so I started solo stuff in like 2001.
Did you have a point in your career where you realized, which a lot of people don't realize, that maybe you can make a lot of money from the licensing and not have to tour all the time?
I did, yeah.
When was that, and how did it happen?
That was after Acoustic Junction disbanded. It was about 2001.
Yeah.
I made a solo record, my first solo record called Spark. And it was like kind of loopy and just different. It wasn't like grassroots folk rock, I guess, which Acoustic Junction sort of was. And it sort of had a cinematic feel, I guess, but it's just a fan sent it into like Warner Brothers. Yeah. Just said, this would be great on, back then it was like Dawson's Creek, like those shows. And I was like, go for it. And this fan sent it in to the secretary and bothered the secretary. Eventually it got into the hands of these supervisors, and they're all sort of a tight-knit family. So like every song on that record was licensed.
That's
and
fantastic.
Then twice. And then there was one in a feature film. So I was like, whoa, this is a whole nother world. Like there's money up front. I'm still making money to this day from the 2001 movie. Wow. It's like, it's everything. Yeah. So I was like, wow. And I had a kid too. So I was like, oh, I can just keep writing and keep creating, and not tour as much. Yeah. And then sort of hurt my touring, but I was able to survive.
Yeah, there's so many expenses with touring and so much suffering.
So, and just the band stuff, we were talking about this earlier, just logistics and relationships, and
it's always a soap opera.
It's tough.
Even the good ones.
It doesn't, even the great bands. It's just the way it is. You're married to them. Yeah. So yeah, I
When you're
figured out
actually
another
married,
way.
your spouse knows about these other marriages that you haven't
Yeah,
talk about them too
exactly.
much.
They're like, you love the bass player more than me, yeah. That kind of thing. So I've been solo. I have bands here and there that just
Yeah.
come play with me in shows, but I've been solo man for pretty much since then.
Yeah.
First of all, you can sort of make a living. When you're in a band, it's tough you gotta sell
Yeah.
some tickets.
Yeah. So let's talk about the writing, and I wanted to go back to the first time I saw you play was at one of the Christmas shows at the Inn, and it's hard to get much of a reaction out of Greg. He's kind of he's got a mysterious vibe, And I remember being at the bar with Jeb and Greg, watching you, and everyone is just sitting there in awe of you in the next room. And I said to Greg, you know what? Reed is this perfect, tangible mixture of the early Bob Dylan
Yeah.
and John Prine. And Greg says, you're exactly right.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, thank you. I mean,
And the new record has a John Prine reference in the first song.
it
Sam
does.
Stone.
Yeah. Just like Sam Stone or Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I got old songs showing up like Best Friends.
Yeah.
Out on the weekend on the radio, just like Sam Stone or Hallelujah, to give you what you need. Yeah. I like that line a lot. I like
So
that song.
was I right about that? Were those your staples growing up, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And others, but Neil Young.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Prine he's like water in our house.
Yeah. Wow.
You need it to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big influence. It was just sad to see him go last year.
Yeah.
Or the year before, I can't remember. It was during COVID, I know that, beginning of it.
I'm so glad I got to see him perform. And there's never been any performer except John Prine who, when you saw them, you always cried, and it was out of happiness and out of just
Always.
the sadness of the lyrics. And
Yeah, he marries that bittersweet thing about life, the pain and the beauty.
Yeah.
And he sometimes sort of disguises all that pain with sort of happy music too sometimes.
Yeah.
And he has a way of just putting it all together in such a beautiful way. But yeah, every time I see him, I cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I saw him a bunch too. Yeah.
So let's get to kind of the theme of this podcast, which is, you spend a lot of time in Colorado, so you can picture yourself in some mountain town, and it's just you, and there's been a zombie apocalypse, and you don't know what's happened to your family, your friends, your partner, and you're completely alone. Mm-hmm. And you have food and water and a crank-powered Victrola, so you can bring 5 records. What is the first one you would bring?
Well, I guess it would be John Prine's self-titled record.
Yeah.
Of him in front of the hay bale.
Is that the biggest influence on you as a songwriter? Maybe that record?
It's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
It's definitely top 5 of my biggest influence. I mean, it's just loaded with amazing songs. Sam Stone, Illegal Smile, Spanish Pipe Dream. I mean, I love all of his records, but if I only had to choose you're saying 5 records or whatever, that's the one I would pick.
It's amazing that somebody so young wrote those songs that were so wise, because that's his first record.
I mean, yes, first record, and then Hello in there, when he was a mailman, just like seeing all these old people in their houses delivering mail, and he's just like, please don't pass him by on stairs if you didn't care.
Yeah.
Say hello in there.
Speaking of
That
songs that make
stuff
you
is
cry.
just so emotional. He's just like taps into the sadness, and and there's a hole in Daddy's arms where all the money goes.
Jesus.
I mean, but I always gravitate to the sad. You have to. You can't. Nothing's all happy. It has to be both, right?
I loathe music that's all happy.
It's just you can't even fake that. I mean, you can fake it, but it's fake.
Yeah.
Old people just grow lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello in there. Hello.
So the new record is right off the bat. It's just very heartwarming, and listening to it, I had 2 distinct questions for you.
Okay.
What were you lucky to get away with?
That was referring to Is it the acid in the
acid
fridge?
in the fridge, yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
it. Actually, wasn't me. So it was my buddy who I wrote the song with.
Yeah.
He used to keep acid in the fridge, and I don't know if he sold it or not, but definitely dabbled in it.
Yeah.
And I sure have too. But so it's just like you're lucky during those periods of time. You're sort of involved in that hallucinations and whether you're selling it or not, or just lucky to get away with it, still have your mind intact and get something from it, but also leave it behind.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Not have it just devour you, or you start selling it and you go to jail or what. You're just lucky to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was, what were you lucky to get over?
That's more of, I was just lucky to get over it, which is more of a relationship. Somebody leaving you and just lucky to be able to move on from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, I was reading about you, and you are now the patriarch of your family, right? I mean, you lost.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm an orphan.
Has that changed your songwriting?
Probably in ways I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still, like, to this day, I'm like, I just want to call my mom. Oops, no. I lost my father in 2001, so really early.
Yeah.
And my mom about 5 years ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
I appreciate that. That's life. It's
Yeah.
nothing. I'm lucky to have great friends.
Yeah.
Like that are my brothers, and also I have siblings too that are we still have good relationships with each other. So that's really important. I have my mom always used to say to me, she'd say, "You have the best friends," and I always thought that's all I need in this life. Really, I mean, that's what I want to. I want to be kind, and I want to have good friends.
Yeah.
Very important.
Everyone in the music scene around here, whether they're fans or musicians, when your name comes up, they say, "Oh, we love Reed."
I appreciate that. I mean, I try to exude that. And look, I have my moments, like everybody does, but I really try to keep that mantra of just being kind and treat people the way you want to be treated.
When did you feel like you were a part of the Boulder scene here with Leftover and maybe all these people too, Greg and Jeb and Clay?
Those are two different sort of
two
eras.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first era was Acoustic Junction, Leftover Salmon, Big Head Tob, and the Samples. We're all friends.
Yeah.
I mean, Al, the piano player, is still one of my good friends. I don't see him that much, but he got into some stuff. But we'd all just sort of play together. I think we played every other Tuesday at J.J. McCabe's, and then
that's not
Salmon.
That's before my time.
Yeah, before your time. That was in probably 90s, 91, 91. Yeah. And then Big Head and the Samples were just great. I used to go to them like, that's where I want to be.
Dave Matthews was opening for them.
That's right.
They were big shit.
And that first record they made was incredible. I just don't. It's too bad because I just felt like they had the potential, but it's the way it goes, right? They had their success and they were huge here. Yeah. They were the biggest band, I think, that I remember during that time.
Yeah. They were this mixture of the Police and the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, Police, they got out there, but really, the Jeep, the drummer, is just unbelievable.
He's one of the best. Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's playing with the English Beat right now.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. I want to talk about your relationship with Greg. You've been doing these Christmas shows for 12 years or something like that. And it's wonderful that you're friends. You collaborate, too, on stage, but he does a stream of consciousness, thing where you can kind of, some of the power of it, I think, is that you can make any interpretation of his lyrics that you want. And then with you, it's more personal. And so how do you bond and how do you inspire each other?
Well, first off, it's true. I've never, Greg's, unbelievable with words. I've seen, pieces of paper, and he'll just say, "This is what I'm working on," and he doesn't even use it. And I'm like, I would use all of that. Yeah. He's just one of those agile minds. He's really good with that. I do work a little differently, and I try to, not cop what he's doing, but I'm definitely inspired and influenced by it. And I think it's the same. I'm older, so I think we both take from each other. I'll write a song. I mean, sometimes I've written them thinking of him, and then he'll help me finish it, and he'll help finish the end or whatever, and just so that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've written a bunch together, but we're constantly inspired by each other because we don't feel like we're doing the same thing. I mean, he's obviously watching your friends get really big. Is challenging, but for me, he's my friend, but I'm also a huge fan. So I'm not feel like, oh, why did it happen to him and not me? It should have happened to him. He's that good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's.
Are you giving him any preemptive advice on parenting?
He doesn't want to talk to me about that. No, we've talked a lot about that. Yeah. It's a scary thing, having children, and this, people are like, oh, it's a baby, it's so fun, and it's a big commitment. It's and you don't know what you're gonna get, but I think he'll be a great dad. Yeah, and
Jeb's
great
a dad now too.
And Jeb's a dad. I actually met Jeb is Gregory's violin player. For those of you who don't know, but I was with Jeb in Costa Rica when he met. His I don't
Juliet.
Think he's married now.
I'm not sure if they're married, but that's his partner.
They might have just I'm not sure. Yeah. But I was with him when he met her, and now he's got a kid and lives in Costa Rica. He loves being a dad. Yeah, and I did too. I was very paternal, but it's hard. It's not like people sort of sugarcoat it, right? And it's hard, just like everything in life.
Mine just turned 13 2 weeks ago, so
so okay,
I'm in for it.
You're in for it.
Second album you would bring with you to this cabin.
Okay. I would say Neil Young, Harvest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just from top to bottom, beautiful record. Yeah. I could listen to that over and over again. I think that's the point if I only have. Yeah. I never get sick of it.
Well, you have 70 Neil Young albums to choose from.
So that's right.
Why
that's
that one?
Oh, just because it's loaded with the best songs. And for my 16th birthday party, I had Harvest shirts made. Everybody had put them on, and I just think I'll pack it in and buy a pickup, take it down to LA.
He's still going too.
Still going, yeah. I follow him on Instagram, and he's still going. I sort of lost him after, I don't. And those were special years, to write those kind of things. I don't think he can keep that magic up, but he certainly tries.
Yeah. This new record, how did it come together? Who plays on it? You mentioned having a songwriting partner on the record. Is that just for one song or for?
No, this particular record, I think I wrote most of them with my dear friend Putnam Murdoch. He lives on the East Coast. Yeah. And we've been writing songs now since 2001. Our fathers were in a bluegrass band together, like a country western bluegrass band, just as hobbies, and they would practice every Thursday night. So Putnam and I grew up around this, like harmonies, and his dad is a great banjo player and dobro player. And my father was a guitar player and singer. And then my mom played bass in the band. Wow. But it was pretty cool. They made, after 25 years of sort of playing every Thursday, they did gigs around and, as a hobby, they finally made a record called 1,000 Thursdays, which is 25 years of Thursdays. And it's a great record. But I digress. So Putnam and I sort of grew up around this. And then 2001, both our fathers got cancer at the same time. So I came home from Boulder to take care of him. Yeah. And Putnam did the same. So we were sort of sitting on the couch in Dover. Our dads were sick. And that's when we started. And he had been in a band here in Boulder called Chief Broom.
I haven't heard.
Do you remember them? They were mildly successful here too. But he's younger than me. He's 10, 12 years younger. So we just started kind of putting that all into words, and it clicked, and we've been writing ever since. Every year we go to Martha's Vineyard. His wife has a little shack there in a meadow, and we go there for 4 days and write songs. We've been doing that for, I don't know, I think 7 years now. Wow. So we there was a little dry spell there. At first we just wrote a lot, and then we couldn't together.
Yeah.
And now it's just pretty consistently we're working always. So he's one, and then Gregory a little bit, and then some friends of mine that don't really write all the time, but they chip in, and I write with them.
Did you have the same band on every track, or is it different people?
This is the same band, the Band of Heathens out of Austin, Texas.
Yes,
Yeah, I made my last 2 records with them.
Where did you record?
In Austin.
Nice.
They have a studio called the Finishing School, and they are just phenomenal. I mean, because I do all my work, like before, like my arrangements, the songs, the details, and I really just go to them and let them do whatever they want. I've learned to let go, and as opposed to like analyzing everything, and it usually is pretty good. It's a great experience, and the records come out good.
One of the songs has a distinctly Jackson Browne feel to it, and I wondered if that was a little bit of an influence on you.
Not really with me. I'm trying to think of what song. Is it a song on the latest record? Or
Yeah, it comes through. It's the 3rd or 4th song, but I definitely felt like this could be a Jackson Browne
really?
song.
Oh, well, that's a compliment. I think like Ed, one of the guitar players, is really into him.
Yeah.
With these guys, I think I'm going to make another one with them. Actually, I want to make a John Prine record.
Yeah.
All John, and I'm going to make it with them. Because they're like sort of chameleon. Like they're so good. They can just do any style.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, I want this to sound like what Jackson Browne, or have that feel, or Van Morrison, or whatever.
Yeah.
Boom, it's done. They're that good.
You've done the last 2 with them.
Done the last 2, Lucky Enough, and then Wild Wild Love, and Jesse. The rhythm section is now playing with John Fogerty.
Oh wow!
Just for a spell.
John Fogerty's son is in his band.
Yeah, and his sons, they're friends with the sons, so I think they got Jesse and Rich to join the band.
Nice.
So they're no longer in the Band of Heathens.
Okay.
So, but I think if I go to I'll just bring them in as the rhythm with the band with the other guys, Gordy and Ed. Yeah, very talented band, great people.
It's got a slick feel, like the L.A. Laurel Canyon feel.
Yeah,
and then it also is gritty. It's not.
It's raw. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't. Yeah, it's just. It's kind of a good balance, right?
Yeah.
And I think the next one it'll be different sounding than those first 2. They sort of have a similar. Yeah. I'm not sure what direction that'll be, but it'll be different.
Okay, let's go with album number 3. That you take on your apocalyptic.
On my
journey.
apocalyptic cabin. Album number 3 would be. Let's get Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks.
Oh man, I mean that's a sad motherfucker right there. So.
I guess. See, there you go. Yeah. I gravitate to the sad songs. What's so wrong with the sad song now and then? It's heavy.
I can't feel you anymore. I can't even touch the books you've read. Every time I crawl past your door, I've been wishing I've been somebody else instead. Down the highway.
Great record. Again, from beginning to end.
It's a breakup record, and there are some songs where he's just snarling. I mean, he's saying, "You're an idiot," and all.
The idiot win. I love that though. What a great way to get over it.
Exactly.
And get on with it, and just
Sometimes you have to be angry to get through anger.
Yeah. But then it's also you're gonna make me lonesome when you go.
Yeah.
So it's both sides. Talk about a magician.
Yeah.
Like he captured some magic.
His last album, I was just talking about this the other day because someone said there hasn't been any good Bob Dylan since Time Out of Mind, which is my favorite album.
Great record.
By anybody. Speaking about sad albums.
Yeah.
But his last album, Rough and Rowdy Ways, is surprisingly really
I got to
really
check
good.
it out. I've heard that. It's good.
It's got a couple of those Desolation Row type 16
long
minutes.
ones, yeah.
So, yeah.
I used to play that one. I play Visions of Johanna sometimes. It's got to be the right crowd.
Yeah.
Long journey. Yeah, that's that Time Out of Mind is just not dark yet. It's just like one of my. Isn't that on Time Out of Mind? Yeah.
Yes. That's one that I could. I mean, this is even taking sadness to another level. But I've thought about what song would be if you knew you were going to die. You could die to a song. It would be not dark yet for me.
For you. You know what?
It's just this bed you can lay in.
Yeah, it almost feels like that when I love songs that do that. You're like, okay, I'm good. I could die here.
Right. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, for me, I don't know what that song would be for me. I have so many, but the
That's
one I
another
want
podcast.
sung.
What song would you do?
I want sung. I know this is getting really sad, but the song I want sung at my funeral, I think is "No Hard Feelings" by the Avett Brothers.
I don't know that one.
It's a great song. I've started to do it. It's everything, and it's just beautiful. Check it out. The last line is like, "I have no enemies," and that's what I want in my life. It's just like, it just talks about, will I be ready? When my body won't hold me anymore. Yeah. Will I be ready? Will my hands be steady? And it's beautiful. Beautiful tune.
Talk to me a little about, speaking of enemies, talk to me a little about this line. I got memories like enemies.
I got memories showing up, just, the bad memories that you don't want to think about. You want to erase the things that you've done wrong, things, whatever, just that don't make you feel good.
Yeah.
But they show up like enemies, right?
How do you fight them? I mean,
how do you fight them? You change your tune. I've been it's a work in progress. I think for everybody, I've been trying to just switch that around, as opposed to like you can look at it. You can look at the negative, or you can turn that into positive. It's really just a mind game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the mind gets cloudy, and you're just worried about all the things of the past or whatever, or the future or the money or whatever. But you just shift it into the now. Try to be positive, and everything's okay. I got it better than most.
You're alive.
I'm alive, whether that's great or not. But you're hoping to just that simple shift, whatever it takes, exercise or just a thought mantra.
Yeah,
can change it.
Yeah. So how has Boulder changed over the years?
Oh man.
I've only been here for 10 years or so.
10 years. So you have
a big change.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said, back in like '89, it was a great place to sort of grow up. I mean, I was paying $300 a month for, and it was just more of a hippie town.
It was still
then.
Weird.
Yeah. And so it was great as a 23-year-old, growing up. And then, you see it slowly starting to, money comes in, tech companies come in, and everything changes. I mean, there's still beauty all around. It's still beautiful.
Course,
the weather's beautiful. And there's still those people. There's a certain look to some of these Boulder, especially women. And it's like, wow, it's just certain Colorado look that's just healthy and beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. But yeah, I moved about 6 or 7 years ago. I had a place out in Lafayette, and that was like dormant for years, Lafayette. Yeah. And then I just saw it explode, and I was like, I'm going to sell. And my mom, I was going to Nashville actually, and my mother got sick. Yeah. So I left my car in Nashville and took care of her for a year, and then I met a girl, and we live in Vermont now.
So you love New England too?
I do, because I grew up there, so it's nice to kind of come home. But I'm so glad I lived out here for 20-odd years. Yeah. It was, and I still come back with my sons here and do these shows with Greg every year, and so it's my home away from home. I still love it. But yeah, it has changed a lot, and just because it sort of has to. It's a beautiful place, so why, money comes in and restaurants and...
Similar to Austin, how Austin changed.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Austin... I don't know it that well to see, but it's crazy there. Yeah, Austin, when I was there, the homeless situation there is bad.
Oh, yeah. It's bad here. I mean, there aren't... the numbers that there are in an LA or San Francisco, but it's hardcore homeless.
Here.
So, yeah.
Which that didn't really, that's different.
That's like the last 4 or 5 years, honestly.
Yeah. By the band shells or any, it's just in this cold weather too. I just always
They opened up a few of the rec centers when it was really scary cold.
Because that's you're going to die.
Yeah. Clay was doing this thing at the band shell every Tuesday afternoon. It was great, where he would play in front of the band shell for the homeless people and ask everybody in the community to come by with blankets and socks and everything.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Good for him.
Yeah.
During winter, like now, or when was he doing it?
During the lockdown.
During the lockdown.
When it was really, really scary for everybody. Yeah.
God, yeah. God, we're through that.
Yeah. Okay, so album number 4, because we got John Prine, we got Neil Young, and we got Bob Dylan. Which
Okay. I would do Cat Stevens, and I would do Tea for the Tillerman.
Yeah, that's a classic, and it instantly makes me think of Harold and Maude.
Yeah,
You know.
one of my favorite movies. Yeah. It's just, I know I want to do. One of my goals is to be a. We're not. I want to be like supervise a film musically. I would love to do that, and I'd love to do like I could use just Gregory, right? I could do. I just love that concept of just one artist throughout the film, which hasn't been done that much. Like
Not that much.
I mean, Harold Maude's one of the quintessential ones. Right? It's all Cat Stevens, and maybe like Elliott Smith, right? He was.
Do you know Dead Man, the Jim Jarmusch movie?
No,
It's just Neil Young's electric guitar.
oh, right. So just his music.
Well, he got an advanced cut of the movie, booked a studio, and just improvised electric guitar.
That's like a dream of mine. So because a lot of times when you're writing, you need the fodder, right? You need what are you going to write about? So if somebody puts the images, something's going to come, and I'm going to write a song to it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I want to do it. That would be a big dream. I should. And I sort of do that by watching movies. I take things and I keep them in my head. But it would be great to just be given the subject matter, really.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this episode and you're in the movie and TV industry, Reed Foehl is interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
Please approach him.
Please approach me.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about New Year's resolutions, but what are your goals for your career?
Just to survive.
Yeah.
Break even.
Most
keep
people
doing
don't,
it.
so that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't want to have I don't have huge aspirations. I just want to be able to keep creating art and making music.
Yeah.
And whatever I can't really control. I can control certain things. Like I'm starting to be more proactive on social medias because you just have to. I hate it.
Someone's got to do it.
I'm turning that around, meaning like, well, everybody else is doing there. We're going to walk all over you if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's not something I love because I don't be like, oh, look at me. I just don't like that. I want, I do like to perform, but those are different things. So I'm starting to do that, and because I do it on my own, book shows. But now people are being receptive, and I'm getting momentum, and that feels good.
Yeah.
To just really just the next gig. Keep me playing.
This new album is incredible too.
Thank you.
Is. I love it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, and to trying to keep making good music, and then those are the songs. Once they're recorded, that's like your ammunition. For getting stuff on TV or film. If it's not recorded, that's not gonna even have a chance of happening.
Yeah, it's so different now. It used to be that your album was what you were kind of promoting on the road, and now it's your business card.
Yeah, and it's like I still make albums because I like them as a whole unit, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
but I'm still going to do that.
If you're gonna have that warm Laurel Canyon sound, you got to get it on vinyl.
Got to. I know. I'm looking here. You got a bunch of vinyl. Yeah. I need a player. I got to figure that out because I had a KLH awesome one, and it's defunct now. So I got to do that when I get home. It's one of my goals.
It's easy to get a nice cheap one, $150.
Yeah, are those all right? You mean like all-in-one things like the?
No. Never get an all-in-one.
Yeah.
Anybody listening?
No.
There's no such thing as a good all-in-one.
Right, because the speaker.
Yeah, but nowadays you can get the aux cable or even USB and go
amps
right into a speaker, and it's great that way.
Oh, really?
But
from the turntable into the speaker? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But one that has a speaker in it is never going to be good.
No.
There's no such thing.
No.
Okay, so your fifth and final album.
All right, it's one of my. It's got to be Bob Marley.
Yeah.
And I want to say like Exodus, but I might say since I'm stranded, I would just go for I might go for Babylon by Bus, the live record, because I get more bang out of my
There's so much energy on that.
So much beautifulness.
Yeah.
And all those other records are sort of mellow, so I'd say Babylon by Bus.
That is a great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first song is Funky Reggae Party, which he went to see The Clash and then wrote that song.
Did he? I didn't know that.
And it's just like, oh, it's great.
Yeah, he was like, I had a big poster of him in my room when I was growing up, and he was a huge influence, just like the power of music.
Yeah.
You know, how sacred it was, but also how life-changing it can be for you with your words, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a preacher. I don't like to preach in my songs, but I got that from him, like how powerful words can be and song can be, and he was the quintessential man of that, you know? And yeah, I wish I had gotten to see him, you know?
Yeah, that would have been something else.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's
so powerful.
That's a good choice for the zombie apocalypse situation, too, because you need some positivity.
Yeah, exactly.
A positive
Yeah, I got the sad album. I got I think it's well-rounded, I guess. I didn't think about that, but I was just thinking about just the records I would love to listen to and never get tired of.
Yeah. Oh, last question. If you can bring one item with you of any kind, something that you can carry on your back as you're escaping up to, ward or something like that, what's one item?
One item, any item?
Anything that you can actually carry.
Oh, it would be my guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully some good zombie songs would come out of it.
Yeah, and then I can just write, stay there and not give them to anybody, but just for myself, which I love anyway. Like, the writing is like, it's kind of selfish, right? It's like, it's for me, right? I'm writing to make myself feel better and hopefully create something really cool. And then you give it out to the world as a selfless thing, you know? And you hope they take it selflessly.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe the zombies would like the songs, and then that could end the apocalypse.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's true. Never thought of that.
Well, thank you so much, Reed Foehl, for being here today. And I'm glad that your time in Boulder matched up with this. I'm really
I
grateful.
appreciate you having me, Adam, and I look forward to hearing more of your stuff.
Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy.
All right. Take care.
I'll give you another hour, then I gotta run. I gotta fly.
That was Reed Foehl and me chatting on a snowy Boulder day. Reed will be at the Roots Music Project in Boulder on Thursday, June 29th. Armor and Sword. That's the one. That's the song that reminds me so much of Jackson Browne. And I will also say, please take Reed's advice. Get out while you can and work the simple life. I hope to be able to do that someday. But thanks for listening. Please do follow Mile High Stash wherever you listen to podcasts, and drop a review on Apple Podcasts if you can as well. I will be playing the drums at the Velvet Elk in Boulder this Saturday night, April 22nd, with Rolling Harvest. So come by and say hello if you're around. If not, see you next Monday right here, as usual.